One of the biggest investors in the world wants more Bitcoin. His name is Paul Tudor Jones. We're going to cover that as well as some interesting trade opportunities. The market is looking bullish on this Monday. So let's not waste any time and get straight into it. Cue the intro. So one of the biggest investors in the world, Paul Tudor Jones, manages multi-billion dollar fund. He was one of the first big names to say that he's interested in Bitcoin and he's investing in it. And this was basically the catalyst that started the bull run near the end of last year. It kind of got Bitcoin past 20,000 and then rode it all the way to 65. So he was the first one that kind of jumped on alongside Michael Saylor. And then, that was just the floodgates opened and everyone just started jumping in. And now he's saying that he wants to increase his portfolio from 1% to 5%. Again, these are multi-billion dollar funds. So, of course, that means a lot. But it's not just, the extra 4%, which is a lot of money. If you zoom out, that's not a lot of money in regards to Bitcoin's actual market cap. But because it's showing he's a lot more bullish, and he gives reasons for that, we'll go into that in a second, it signals to his other friends who are, of course, on his level, multi-billions, hundreds of millions. It signals to them, well, Paul, who is one of the best, one of the GOATs in the game, is saying that he wants to increase his allocation, by 5 times, then, am I missing out? Should I be increasing my kind of portfolio? And so that's definitely going to have a knock-on effect across the market, increasing the bullish momentum. And some could say this is kind of catalysted the break towards 40,000. I think it's just market momentum. But reading the article, prominent legacy investor Paul Tudor Jones III has doubled down on his support of Bitcoin by indicating that it is reliable, honest, secure, and 100% certain. Furthermore, he said he wants to have 5% of his entire portfolio allocated in BTC. He argued that buying BTC would ultimately protect him from the growing threat of inflation in the US as the Fed initiate radical measures to fight the financial consequences of the pandemic by printing excessive amounts of the dollar. He goes further to say in the interview, I like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is math, and math has been around for thousands of years. 2 plus 2 is 4. It's going to equal 4, and it will be for the next 2,000 years. So I like the idea of investing in something that's reliable, consistent, honest, and 100% certain. Jones added that BTC has appealed to me because it's a way for me to invest in certainty, i.e. maths. On the question of what Jones is advising people about the investment portfolios, he noted that he wants to have 5% allocated in gold and 5% in Bitcoin. Now, the thing to also note is he's said that he wants to do this, but he hasn't done it yet. As I always say, there's a difference between what they say and what they actually do. So until he's done it, maybe it's a slow process, but until he's done it, it's not done. So, you got to take that with a grain of salt. So transitioning over to the charts now. So Bitcoin, right, as I said, was looking good. I think the worst was behind us, and it's up from here. Now, I did say in yesterday's video that there is still a chance that we can dip below 30. We're not completely out of the woods just yet. There's still resistance at 42. You can see these wicks. There's resistance at 41, 42. So it can still get rejected, or it could still spike and drop all the way down. It's still a possibility, but I think for the most part, if that happened, it would be a quick spike down and nothing serious. So the thing that we want to see now is definitely it would be nice to see confirmation of the 21-day EMA becoming support, and also further up for this 40,000 level. You can see this high over here, 40,600, for it to break that level and then claim it as support. If you can do that, and claim it as support, that would be extremely bullish. And as I said in my private Telegram group and on Twitter, so follow me on that if you haven't, there isn't much resistance from now until 44 to 46. So it could be a sprint to the top. So be wary, that could be a quick one. Now, if it happened, I can definitely see that being tapped, and then maybe it dropping all the way down and then reclaiming this area of support. It could be 40, 41, or it could go lower down 38 and then claim that as support, which would still be bullish. Again, another tweet that I made today, I think the correction is over, and it's going to be up from here. That's my opinion, so let's see what happens with that. Could be proven wrong, but we move forward. Now, the one of the better trade opportunities I've seen at the moment is gonna be UNISWAP. So UNISWAP is looking like a good risk to reward ratio. So it's just above a crucial level of $22. Again, I've put this on the private Telegram group. Support is at 22. You could pop it below a little bit here, down to 21. But the first level is going to be 29 to 30. Well, actually, the first level of resistance is here, 25. But the next level is around 29, 30. And then to get back close to the next major resistance level, $34. So that's a nice return of, or a nice risk to reward ratio of 4.19. So basically 1 to 4 essentially. So there's a lot of upside, and of course Uniswap is one of the biggest. It is the biggest decentralized exchange. So in terms of kind of value, it is the most valuable. It's used a lot. Therefore, it's unlikely to go to zero. So it's basically undervalued at the moment, is what I'm trying to kind of get at. And it's just above a major support level. As long as it holds this level of $22 and change, then there's a good chance that, you know, in the next week, next 2 weeks, next month, or perhaps it's going to casually go up towards 25, then towards 28, 29, and then towards 35. So you heard it first. That's what I think is going to happen. The next I want to look at is one of my favorites at the moment, which is perpetual. I want to look at the ETH pairing actually on the weekly time frame, and you can clearly see here, well, definitely a left shoulder and a head, and this is somewhat of an odd looking kind of disformed right shoulder, but it's a head and shoulder nonetheless. And when it gets past it, I've said it many times, although there's been many wicks, once it gets past, which is looking close, and confirms on the weekly time frame, we need a proper break, then it can easily go to the moon, back to these levels. Similarly, on the dollar pairing, it's somewhat of a inverted head and shoulders, although not proper. It's not a full head and shoulders. You can see it doesn't connect quite as well. But if it can get past this counter trend line, or this high of $9.80, which it's trying to do, then it's going to open up the door towards $10.11 again, and then towards $15. You can see there's nothing in the way. It's just wicks, people selling. So once it kind of takes the bears out of it, once it gets past this resistance, then it's going to go to the moon, $17 and beyond.
It's over 9,000.
I really think it's going to rocket. Next, we'll have a look at injective protocol. Let's look at it from the daily. From the daily, it's actually forming somewhat of a descending triangle. You can see this counter trend line and this support level. Now, descending triangle, you might assume that this would break to the downside and it would be a bearish move, but in the bull run, descending triangles actually break to the upside quite a lot more than to the downside. So as long as it holds this major support level around $7.75 and breaks above this, once it breaks above this, then we can see targets of $10.50 being hit, $11 or $12, and then higher up towards $14, $15. So similarly, this is also a good opportunity, a good trade opportunity. Again, support will be around here, and the targets could be as high as $15. So that's a risk to reward of 1 to 6. But of course, this takes time. It's not like a one-day move. It takes a week, maybe 2 weeks. But this is major support over here. Next, we'll have a look at ENJ. So now we're looking at ENJ. So ENJ looks interesting because there is a long counter trend line in the way. Many taps, and also one here, and also another one here. And now it's tapping that again. So if it gets past this and reclaims it as support, it's going to be very bullish. It's going to open up the floor towards $1.60, towards $2 and some change, if it gets past there. However, if it rejects, then it could push it all the way back down to $1.18, $1.20, or even lower if that doesn't hold. So it's at a crucial point right now. It needs to break past this to continue this momentum that it started 2 days ago. So komsi komsa. And we'll finish off by looking at VECHAIN. So there's a couple of points of resistance in the way, similar to ENJ, although ENJ has a much stronger counter trend line. So there's many points that it can get rejected of. So it's going to need quite a strong rally to get past these points. But after these two levels, then there is some space for it to get close to 16, 17 cents. So it's looking okay. So not quite a clear opportunity as UNISWAP, but it's looking like it wants to move to the upside. So that'll be the end of this video. See you in the next one. Peace.